Should I have a hot tub in this? Probably be rude if I didn't. When we bought this ATV, we bought it brand new, I think in 2018. And for the first year we had it, like it just came with the racks, right? And we would be strapping on a chainsaw and trying to take tools places. So I said to Steve, we were out at the lake, and I was like, I'm gonna build a box because it's such a pain. You can't even take some wrenches and a chainsaw and a drink or something. Like, there's nowhere to put anything. I know you can buy things for ATVs, but I was like, I'm just gonna build a box out of some scrap plywood that we had out there. And he's like, you're wasting your time. That's a stupid idea. Never mind. La 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 la. 6 years later, it's still kicking. It's the most used thing ever. And I just tie it down with zap straps. Should I go from under here? I kind of measured and put holes so that it could strap down with zap straps. It's held up pretty well. I probably should have painted it, but I also drilled holes, kind of, there are holes so that the water doesn't pool in it too bad. But it's lasted pretty good for 6 years. Make them bigger. These wouldn't fit in there very well. There. They keep breaking. All of them are snapping, like, they must be old. So, think of something else. Straps, I guess. Wanted to come down and have a hot tub in this propane tank end cut off hippie hot tub that I made since the middle of winter, and I never got to doing that. I wanted to do it at the end of winter, and then I wanted to do it so many times. I just have not done it, and I feel like now is the perfect time. I obviously gotta drain it and clean it a little bit. Pouring again. Luckily I have this shed, because I'm trapped down here a little bit. This pump isn't working. I have it plugged into one of my power stations. I turned the lights on using it, and so I don't think I think there's something wrong with the pump. So I'm probably gonna have to go up to the house and see if I can't figure out what's wrong with it. Got the patient at work.
Something to do.
Gotta sit though, hey?
Yeah.
It's seized.
Yeah, I'll order him one more right now.
So the pump that we had was no good. It was seized. I sourced out one in town yesterday, went down and got it, brought it home. Turns out it was the wrong pump and everything was closed by then. So today is the next day. I went and got a different pump, and now we can have a hot tub. New come. Steve had a spine surgery down in Seattle about a week ago now, and I will, like I said I would, briefly touch on why he wanted it done in the United States versus Canada. There are actually a couple of reasons, and the first is that Steve's spinal stenosis was at L2 to 4, which is quite high up on the lumbar spine, and when you're that high up on the spine, the bones overlap like shingles on a roof. And the way that they do it in Canada is to cut all of that bone out in order to get to the discs, to remove the discs. Then they replace the bone with plates, rods, and screws. They offered it minimally invasively in Seattle, so no hardware was needed, and therefore no spinal fusion. Steve had what's called a 2-level decompression. The second reason is that our healthcare is terrible in Canada. Steve would honestly probably be dead before he got the operation. And of course, then they would have to fuse his spine with the hardware. Our healthcare system seems to prioritize taking care of people that don't so much take care of themselves. This past week has been incredibly challenging. Like, his recovery has not been as we would have thought. Most people that get spinal decompression get relief of the nerve pain right away. Steve was expecting this as he's actually had spinal surgery before. About 13, 14 years ago, he had an L4-5 discectomy. But this time has just been a totally different scenario. Apparently his nerves in his spinal cord were so squashed that the nerves are just so irritated, and the fact that they're so irritated shows how bad the compression was, but it's a good sign, we think. The neurosurgeon said it might take him up to 3 months for his nerves to finally kind of settle down, and finding a medication that has been helpful has been a challenge. We finally, on Sunday, recommended to us by some family, started him on Lyrica, and there's been quite a big change in his pain management overall since then. It's still not great, but it's better. So it's going to be a slow and steady approach to winning this race. So what am I doing out here fiddling around with this stupid hot tub when there are so many other projects and things that need to be done around here? The work is endless. Well, I'm picking away at those things as well, here and there. But this was calling to me. It's been pretty full on for me taking care of Steve and trying to run a tight ship of the house, pets, and property. So this was just a nice little getaway for me. And I always enjoy sharing these kind of silly things with you. It's no secret that creating content on a solo basis can be really time consuming. I do all my own filming, editing, and I'm usually the main character, I guess, if you will, the main person in front of the camera doing whatever it is that's being done. I would say that it slows production of the tasks down by 50%. Prior to making videos, I felt like a machine. I could multitask and I could accomplish so much and be so proud of myself by the end of the day. But the thing about that was that it felt a little bit lonely. Steve, bless his little heart, has no interest in the things that I do. So I'd show him something that I would be excited about that I did, and he's like, great. So that's one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel, was to share the things that I do as well as the things that he and I do together, because I know that there are people out there that have an interest in these things too. I might not always have something really productive to share, but as long as I share what comes from my heart and makes an impact on even one person, then I think it's worth it. I hope it's worth it. So in terms of the deck, we're going to be acquiring more help for the deck build when the time comes. I'm still working on making materials. And once Steve is out of the woods a little bit more and I can leave the house, I'll be able to resume some of my freedom. And heading out to the cliff cabin will be high on that priority list. sometimes it's all about the little things. So that's it for this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Clyde's reaction to seeing Sherwin here. He always does that.